Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video here today, and something a little bit different and something that I do every year for you guys, and this is to try and help you out because I get a lot of comments all the time asking me this question, and I like to address it in the video so that people can always go watch it if they need it. Also, I did another video today, and this one might also help you guys out. So this one is for camera settings, but I did another video earlier on today, and it was for the wheel/force feedback settings. So if you guys want to have some custom settings for your steering wheel, what works best for me, maybe it might work best for you. If you want to go check it out, you can check it out by clicking the card in the top right hand corner of your screen or in the link down below in the description. But yeah, first of all, we're going to jump into some camera settings, and this one is quite a big thing. You know, recently, I think 3 years ago, it was put into the game where you can change and adjust the camera, and since then it's been a very popular feature, one that I use every single year because I can't stand the default cameras. I think they're absolutely horrific. So I've got some settings for you guys, and I want to say a few things about them first of all. So point one, these are based off of the Ferrari mainly. I use the Ferrari in career mode, and therefore I do what's best looking for the Ferrari. I've done them slightly considering other cars, so it's not 100% accurate to what the Ferrari could be. I could make it better, but this is kind of the best crossover for all cars, with the exception of the Ferrari being the main one, because that's my main car, but all other cars look good. We'll show you some other cars in a moment. In this video I'm going to show you offset T-cam, straight T-cam, and cockpit view. Disclaimer, I use offset T-cam as my main camera view, so the TV pod might not be the best, you know, because I don't use it, and you might have a different preference. But with that being said, let's jump into it, and we're going to see how it looks. Okay, so let's go into the settings, and first of all, you're on the main options screen. You're going to scroll over to the preferences tab and go down to camera options. Once you're here, you're going to have all the different camera views to choose from, as you can see on screen, and we're going to do all three of these here today. So first of all, you can hide the menu if you need to do changes, but first of all, we're going to start things off with the TV pod. Now, you can hide the menu here, you can make some adjustments to it, but this is what I run. This is my preference, and there's one big factor of TV pod which I don't like, and I have to change straight away regardless of whether I use the camera or not. So the big thing here is these two settings: camera shake, camera movement. For me, this camera always moves on every single game, and it doesn't make any sense. When you watch a race or a hot lap, the camera never moves. It doesn't make sense. It's not something that should happen. I get it that it's meant to give you a sense of, you know, acceleration, braking, and movement overall, but for me, the camera should never move. It's a thing that doesn't make any sense to me, so I'll turn these two off straight away to 0 because I don't want any movement. Mirror angles at 0 because the mirrors are pretty good as they are. You don't have to change them. You can adjust them if you need to. You can see there, I'm adjusting now. You look at the mirrors, they go up or down depending on your preference. 0 works quite nicely though, so you don't need to really change that. Near clip plane, again, I'm not sure what this does. It's been in the game for 3 years now, and I don't know what it does. I'm literally adjusting it now and nothing happens, so I'm yet to find out what that does. If anyone knows in the comments, please do let me know, but literally this setting, I don't know what it does. Angle, I've got that at -1. At default, it's at 0, so you get the idea. We're going to go up to 0 here, and there you go, that's 0, and then we're going to put it all back to default so you get the idea. This is what the normal T-cam looks like. For me, I'm not a fan. There's not much going on. I can't see much of the car. I can't see, you know, the front wing. I can't see the steering wheel. I can't see the gears. So for me, it doesn't really work. So first of all, the angle goes down to -1 to really get an idea of where your car is. And then offset vertical. Here, this is going to be the height of the camera, how high or low it goes. So you can go quite high there. You can see the front of the nose and the front wing. You can go low. I like 25, which is the setting I had on before. And then the offset horizontal is going to be how far forward or how far back the camera is. So you can have it really far towards the front. You can have it quite far towards the rear. I find that 0.10 works best, and it's a setting that I would use. So yeah, overall, that is it. Lateral, 0, because you don't want the camera to go to the side. That makes no sense. And then, of course, the field of view, you can go really zoomed in here, which removes also the sense of speed. Or you can go really zoomed out here, which gives you a lot more view of the car, but would also give you an incredible sense of speed and make it look faster than what it truly is. So yeah, for me, that stays on 0. It doesn't really need changing. Maybe 0.05, maybe something like that. But for me, those are my TV pod settings. Again, this isn't my main camera view. Now, in terms of the cockpit view, here we have the cockpit view that I run. I really like this. It's realistic, in my opinion. It works quite well. It's a little bit higher up than usual because the reason I've put it in this height is even though it looks really high on this car, in other cars it's very low. In the Renault, the Red Bull, for example, this camera's extremely low. So again, it's what I said before. Every car's different, and you've got to try and find that balance between all of the cars, unless you want to go into specifics for every single car you drive. But I'm not really down for that to really, you know, do like a spreadsheet of each car, what my settings are. Now, for this one, the big one really is the offset horizontal. The default camera for me, if we put it back to 0, for me, it's too far back. For me, this is, you know, too far. When I'm driving a cockpit, if you imagine wearing a helmet, you'd be a lot closer to the steering wheel. You know, like you'd be really in amongst it, the cockpit view, the cockpit would feel very tight, secluded, a very small space, very claustrophobic. And this is a much more realistic feeling of what it feels like. And you can't really see the mirrors anyway, even with the default settings. So it makes no difference zooming in more because you're not going to see them any less, So in terms of the vertical though, this is the subjective one. I've got a -15. You can go really low if you want to, but like I said, each car it changes, so it depends on your preference. A realistic one is probably this, which is in this case -55. But like I said, each car varies. So -15 I find works because you can also just about see what tire you're using as well, so that helps for racing. And then everything else is default except for the camera shake. I've left it on 10%. By default it's at 100. I don't like it too much because it's too distracting, so I turn it down to 10%. So there's still a bit of shaking going on, but it's not too overpowering. And then these two are subjective: camera movement and look to apex. Look to apex is something that I do like and I would run. I leave it on 0 because you can concentrate more. But if you want to go for that realism, I'd say probably put it on around 5. Don't go too much because otherwise it's too distracting, but maybe 5 is about enough. Look to apex. Camera movement is annoying for me. Again, like the TV pod, cameras shouldn't move. In this case, the camera's your head, which is fair enough. But for me, being realistic, when you're driving in a car, your head shakes and you look to the apex. That's all you do, really. So, the camera movement is not realistic for me. It doesn't work how you'd want it to. And then, of course, the Halem column, subjective, it's on there, but you can turn it off, whatever you want and whatever your preference may be. But that is my cockpit view. And now we're going to move into my main view, the offset T-cam, which is the one that I use. And as you can see, this is what I run. A very realistic setting. I've actually changed it since yesterday, just a smidge. And the key setting here is the lateral. I've got it at -15. Yesterday I had it on -20. So I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not really sure which one out of these two I prefer. It kind of changes day by day. In the Ferrari, -20 looks best, but in every other car, -15 looks better. So it's kind of a balance I'm trying to strike here, and it just depends on your preference. So I'm going to try -15 for a little while and see how I get on with it. But default though, the game has 0, which is way too far to the right. Like, it's just ridiculous. So you want to straighten up a little bit. Field of view, you can run at 0 if you want. It gives a much more realistic sense of speed. I might run 0 at some other time. But if you watch a real actual hot lap and you look at the T-cams on the real life cars, they're quite zoomed in real life. -25 I find works, maybe -20. It's one of those two settings. And whatever your preference is, and depending on the car you're driving. And in terms of horizontal, again, how far forward, how far back the camera, you want it to be. That's entirely subjective to you. I'm going for the realism, so what it looks like when you watch F1 on TV. Same goes for the vertical, how high or how low the camera is. Again, entirely your preference. And then the angle, I've got -90. I can go down to -1, a little bit more there, but again, this is just the angle of the camera, and I've got it -90. I find works best for me. So again, near clip plane. Not sure what this does, and the mirror angle is already pretty good as it is. I don't need to change the mirrors. They're pretty well placed. Maybe a little bit lower, maybe if anything, maybe down to like -10, something like that. But and then camera shake, I've got that off because I don't want shaking on the camera on the T-cam, because you don't see the offset T-cam in real life shaking. So why would it shake in game? Do you know what I'm saying? So overall, those are my settings, guys, and hopefully you found them helpful. And if you did enjoy the video, drop a like, and also leave your comments down below. Tell me what camera view you normally race with, and your personal settings, maybe what you prefer, what you dislike, and also the few changes you make. Like I said, every camera does change from car to car, and you might have to make some small tweaks. But these are the baseline settings, in my opinion, that you should be running for cameras, especially the offset T-cam, which is what I go for, the realism. And like I said, I'm not a TV pod expert because I don't use it, so apologies if it's not to your liking. But nonetheless, guys, if you found the video informative, drop a like, subscribe if you are new, and the wheel settings video will be later on today. But guys, hopefully I'll see you in my next one very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.